holidays truly mean to you? Take a deep breath for a moment, close your eyes if you can, and let yourself really think about it. Do you see the glow of twinkling lights, hear the laughter of loved ones gathered around the table, feel the warmth of giving and receiving of heartfelt gifts? Or does something else surface? Maybe the stress of trying to make everything perfect, the bittersweet ache of missing someone special, or the quiet tug of traditions that don't quite feel like you anymore. If you've ever found yourself just wondering, why do I do the things I do during the holidays? You're not alone. For many of us, this season can feel like a balancing act. We're pulled between honoring family traditions, staying true to ourselves, and managing the expectations of others. But what if this year could be different? What if you could step back and ask yourself the deeper questions? Does this tradition still bring joy? Does this belief still hold meaning? And am I celebrating in a way that feels real, true to who I am today? That's what we're diving into today. Your truth, your traditions, and how to rediscover what the holidays mean to you. So together we'll explore how your beliefs, values, and experiences have shaped your holidays and what it looks like to celebrate from a place of authenticity and alignment. This isn't just about holiday traditions. It's about taking a moment to pause and reflect on what's true for you. Not what you've been told, not what's expected of you, but what genuinely lights up your heart. Aloha! Welcome to the Radiate Health and Wellness Podcast, where we explore the vibrant world of health and well-being. I'm your host, Christine D. Ross, a board-certified health and wellness coach specializing in behavior change and nutrition, and author of Discover the Adventure of You and Health Beings. Join me as we uncover inspiring stories, practical tips, and transformative insights to assist you on your journey to radiate health and wellness. Aloha, friends, and welcome to the Radiate Health and Wellness Podcast. So before we dive deep today, let me share something I've been thinking about, especially during this time of year when everything is just decorated in red and green. These colors are just everywhere, from wreaths, ribbons, and even twinkling lights. Now, imagine a stoplight, red and green, two very distinct colors with two clear meanings. Red means stop, green means go. True or false, yes or no. It's easy to think life's choices, traditions, and beliefs fit neatly into these categories, right? But here's the thing. Life isn't a stoplight. It's not always red or green. More often than not, it's a swirl of colors. There are shades of gray, blue, yellow, and everything in between. It's messy and beautiful and not always clear. The holidays themselves are a perfect example of this. Take the traditional Christmas colors, red and green. They were chosen long ago, symbolizing joy, celebration, and life. But if we take them as metaphors for true or false, right or wrong, we miss the complexity of what our traditions and beliefs truly represent. Today, I want to invite you to step away from the red and green either or thinking and explore all of the shades in between. So let's start with traditions. Think about the ones you follow during the holidays. Decorating a tree, lighting candles, singing carols, preparing special meals, whatever it might be for you. Have you ever asked yourself, why do I do this? For some, the answer might be simple. Because it brings me joy, and that's wonderful. But for others, the answer might be because it's what my family has always done, or because I'm supposed to. And if that's the case, I encourage you to dig a little deeper. Is this transition bringing you joy? Does it align with what you believe or value today? Or are you doing it on autopilot because someone else said you should? When we think in red and green, right or wrong, we forget there's room for all of the other shades in the rainbow. Maybe your tradition isn't wrong, but it might not be entirely right for you anymore. There's space to adapt, to blend the old with the new to make it just uniquely yours. So let me share a little story with you. So there was once a young girl who just loved to cook with her mom. And one Christmas, as they were preparing the holiday ham, the girl noticed her mom cut the ends off each side before placing it in the pan. So curious, the little girl asked, "Mom, why do we cut the ends off the ham?" Her mom paused and said, I'm not sure. That's how my mom always did it. Let's call Grandma and ask." So they called Grandma. Grandma said that was the way her mom always did it. So they called Great Grandma. When asked, Great Grandma laughed and said, "Oh, honey, I cut the ends off because the pan was too small. It's not necessary at all." So this story always just makes me smile, but it also makes me think how many of the things we do, not just during the holidays, but in life, are like that. Traditions passed down without question, rooted in circumstances that no longer exist. And yet, we follow them, never stopping to ask, does this still make sense for me? So let's move to perspective. Imagine the number 6 painted on the ground. If two people stand on opposite sides, one will see a 6 and the other will see a 9. So who's right? So the answer is both. Perspective shapes everything. Two people can look at the same tradition, belief, or experience and interpret it in completely different ways. What's meaningful to one person might feel irrelevant to another. What brings joy to one might bring stress to someone else. This comes into play especially during the holidays. What might feel like just a cherished family tradition to one person could feel just overwhelming or burdensome to another. And that's okay. The beauty of life lies in its diversity. Your 6 might be somebody else's 9, and rather than arguing over who is right, we have an opportunity to see things from another perspective. So this brings me to beliefs. So let's talk about Santa Claus. So as a child, I believed in Santa with all my heart. The idea of a jolly man flying across the world to deliver gifts was just pure magic. But as I got older, the cracks in this story began to show. Santa's handwriting looked a little bit like my mom's, and gifts from Santa would just mysteriously appear in my parents' closet weeks before Christmas. Now, I don't know what I was doing in my parents' closet. But eventually, I realized the truth. But here's the funny thing, I didn't say anything. I kept pretending. Why? Because I was afraid of what might happen if I admitted my belief had changed. Would the magic of Christmas disappear? Would my family see me differently? So I kept on just going along with the story, smiling on Christmas morning as if I were still that wide eyed little kid who believed wholeheartedly. And you know what? I wonder how often we do this as adults. How often do we cling to beliefs about ourselves, our traditions, or even our self worth because we are afraid of what might happen if we let go? Are you holding on to something that no longer feels true simply because it's easier than facing the unknown? Changing beliefs takes courage. It's not easy to step away from what's familiar, especially when it's tied to family, culture, or identity. But here's the thing, when you have the courage to question and change your beliefs, you create space for something new, something that feels authentic to you. So let's go back to that spotlight analogy, red or green, stop or go, true or false. But what if there's another option? What if it's not about stopping or going, but about pausing, seeing the yellow light, pausing to reflect, and to ask yourself, does this belief align with who I am today? Does this tradition bring me joy? Does the story I've been telling myself about my worth, my abilities, my purpose still feel true? And if the answer is no, give yourself permission to let it go. Create new beliefs, new traditions, new stories, and reflect the person you are becoming. So, living in Hawaii has just profoundly shaped my perspective on traditions, beliefs, and the idea of just letting go. So, here on the islands, the holidays look and feel so different from what I grew up with. Instead of snow covered rooftops, there are palm trees wrapped in lights. And instead of hot cocoa by the fire, there's shaved ice on the beach. Back when I lived in Utah, Christmas felt like a race, a marathon to create the perfect Hallmark Christmas. You know the one, the house beautifully decorated, the big family gatherings, the endless shopping list, and the perfectly created holiday gifts. It was magical in its own way, but it was also just very exhausting to me. Every year, I felt like I was just chasing an ideal, trying to meet an invisible standard of what Christmas should be. But here in Hawaii, it's different. Yes, the stores still play holiday music and the shelves are lined with ornaments, lights, and decorations. But there's just this slower, more peaceful rhythm to it all. Christmas here just feels simpler. There's less emphasis on the material and more on connection, on being present with the people you love. This change didn't happen overnight. It required me to stop and ask myself, why am I doing this? Who told me this is what Christmas should look like? And what truly matters to me? And one of the biggest gifts Hawaii has given me is the realization that the greatest present I can give myself during the holiday is my being present, being fully in the moment, allowing myself to experience the simple joys of life, the sound of the waves, the laughter of loved ones, and even the quiet moments of solitude. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned from living here is the value to adapt traditions to fit your environment and your truth. See, in Hawaii, people blend cultural influences from Hawaii to Japanese to Filipino, just creating something just entirely their own. There's a spirit of openness and acceptance that allows for this blending, a willingness to honor the old while embracing the new. And it's taught me that holding just too tightly to the way things should be can prevent us from experiencing the beauty of what could be. Letting go of rigid expectations has allowed me to just really create new traditions that just feel deeply meaningful to me and my family. And it's also shown me that change doesn't diminish the magic, it deepens it, just adding layers of richness and meaning. So, this brings me to another key idea. Beliefs can be inherited, but experiences are personal. See, beliefs can be debated. We can argue about who's right or who's wrong, whose story is true. But when you've experienced something, when you've just really felt it, it becomes a part of you. It's not up for debate. So, for example, someone might believe in miracles because they were raised in a religious household, but someone else might believe because they've experienced a moment of unexplainable grace, like a loved one recovering against all odds, or a deep peace washing over them in a moment of despair. Both are valid, but here's the question. Do your beliefs come from your own experiences, or are they hand me downs? So let's revisit that number painted on the ground. To one person, it looks like a 6. To someone else, it's a 9. But who's right? Both of them, right? So now let's take it further. Imagine two people experiencing the same moment. One feels just awe, the other indifference. Does that make one experience better or more true? Of course not. And this applies to everything. If someone finds peace in prayer, honor that. If someone else finds it in meditation, that's their truth. Your 6 is their 9, and that's okay. So now here's where it gets deep. Are the traditions you follow, the ones you stress every year, truly meaningful to you? Or are they someone else's idea of what you should do? Are the beliefs you hold about yourself rooted in your experiences? Or were they handed down to you? Think about the thoughts that loop in your minds. I'm not good enough. I'm too much. I'll never be successful. Who told you that? Was it a teacher, a parent, a partner? Or is it just a story you've clung onto for so long that it feels like the truth? So let me offer you this gift, the present of presence. When you're present, truly in the moment, you have the clarity to ask, why do I believe this? Is this true for me? When you're present, you can step out of the stories you've inherited and tune into what feels real and true for you. You can honor your own experiences while respecting others. And when you're present, you can stop chasing the perfect holiday. You can let go of the pressure to create a Hallmark Christmas and instead focus on what truly matters to you. So as you move through this season, pause and reflect and ask yourself, why do I believe this? Who told me this? Have I experienced this for myself? And most important, give yourself permission to let go of what doesn't feel true. Create new traditions, honor your experiences, and let your presence, your full, authentic presence, be the greatest gift you give yourself this year. So much mahalo for spending this time with me. I hope today's conversation sparks curiosity, reflection, and maybe even a little magic in your holiday season. But before I sign off, I'd like to invite you to check out my book, Discover the Adventure of You. This book was designed to assist you in finding the values, beliefs, and truths that hold true for you. It's offering you guidance to unlock your authentic self. So it's a perfect tool for reflecting on your personal journey and exploring the core of who you are. So as you head into the season, consider getting a copy of Discover the Adventure of You as a gift for yourself. It's an invitation to dive deeper into your authentic self, honor your own beliefs, and create space for growth and healing in your life. And if you feel like you deserve just a little bit more assistance with your health and wellness goals, I would be honored to be your coach. Together, we can work to create balance, clarity, and a personalized path to living your healthiest, most fulfilling life. And you're always welcome to reach out to me at radiate.hw@gmail.com or my website, radiatehealthandwellness.com. Connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, or simply leave a comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts, questions, or stories. And if this episode resonated with you, or if you know someone navigating their own beliefs, traditions, or truths, please share this podcast with them. Just a small act of sharing can just ripple outward, offering insight, peace, and transformation to someone who is searching for it. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can never miss an episode. By subscribing, you'll stay updated on future topics, my ongoing journey, and tools to assist you create a life full of balance, gratitude, and wellness. So, mahalo again for being here with me today. May you find the strength to rise above, the wisdom to let go, and the courage to honor your own truths and traditions. Until next time, take a deep breath, carry your light into the world, and radiate health and wellness in all that you do.